Hello and welcome back to FPL Hacks with me, Holly Shand. Today I'm going to be looking at a free hit guide. It's always a topic that brings up lots of questions whenever it comes to a popular time to use the free hit in any FPL season. So hopefully everything in this video will help you get prepared. Let's get into it. Now, if you're looking at playing a free hit in FPL, it acts in a very similar way to a wildcard in that you get those unlimited transfers, but the key is that those unlimited transfers only last for 1 week, and at that point your team will revert back to the team you had at the previous FPL deadline. Now, to activate your free hit, you just need to go on the transfers page and make enough transfers to make it so that you've taken a hit. So if you've only got one free transfer, if you try and make 2 transfers, or if you've got 2 free transfers, try to make at least 3 transfers, and then you will get the pop-up box saying, do you want to play the free hit chip, with the option to activate. Now, the thing to bear in mind here is that once you have activated that free hit chip, it cannot be cancelled. Once you've confirmed it, you are stuck with that free hit chip for that week. So, you know, FPL is a changing situation, particularly in the last couple of seasons since the global pandemic hit. So I would always encourage managers to not activate that free hit chip until the day of the deadline, a few hours beforehand, to make sure you're absolutely sure, because if you do get lots of changes to fixtures for whatever reason, it could make that free hit chip be more or less effective in any given game week. We have had situations in the past where, you know, the schedule has fallen in such a way that managers have thought, right, I really want to play free hit chip this game week, and then it's come closer to the deadline and things have changed and the free hit chip didn't look like the best way of attacking that game week. So just try to be a little bit more cautious before activating the free hit to make sure that you're absolutely sure. Now, one of the biggest questions I get asked surrounding the free hit chip is what happens in terms of how many free transfers you have for the next game week. If you've got 2 free transfers and you activate the free hit chip, unfortunately for you, you will only have 1 free transfer after you've used the free hit chip. You cannot carry those 2 free transfers forward to a future week once you've used the free hit. So that's something to bear in mind. It does frustrate a lot of fantasy managers, myself included. It happens on the wildcard as well, but you cannot carry 2 free transfers over when you're playing your free hit chip. Now, a lot of other misconceptions around the free hit chip comes when it's looking at transfers. Say if you've made a transfer early in the week and then you choose to play the free hit chip, then you will not have that player in your team come the following deadline, because the free hit chip cancels any transfers for your main team. It just accumulates transfers for your free hit side for 1 week, and then you'll go back to your old team. Now, that can come in handy. Say if you've taken a points hit early in the week and then you've had a player injured or maybe suspended in training or another competition, and you've taken a -4 or a -8, and then suddenly your team is left in tatters when it comes to the deadline, the free hit chip can be used as a little bit of a get out of jail card, because if you've taken a hit pre-deadline and then activate the free hit chip, it then cancels the points hit that you've taken, because you're then on unlimited transfers. Just remember that your team then reverts back to the team you had at the previous deadline when it comes to the following game week. Now, the downside of this is that if there's a big player that's, you know, really going up in team value and you're bringing them in on the free hit, when your team reverts back, you won't have that player anymore, and therefore he will be more expensive to buy in the future. You cannot have any gains or losses from team value when you're on your free hit. So any team value that's changed on your original team, you'll unfortunately be left with afterwards. Now, when it comes to using the free hit chip, obviously it's down to personal taste, and it can be used, you know, if you've just got a week where you've got a lot of problems in your squad, but it's most effective to use the free hit chip in either a blank game week or a double game week, and at the time of recording we have got lots of those in the schedule, so it seemed like a good time to, you know, visit this free hit guide. So in terms of what's going to get you the biggest gains in FPL, it tends to be if there's a big double game week that you're not prepared for and there's lots of players that you don't own that you want to target, the free hit chip is a great time to be played at that point. It can also be used in a blank game week if there's maybe only a few fixtures and you've not got that many players for that game week, but you're likely to not see as big an increase in rank if you get it right than if you use it in a double game week. And the other things to bear in mind at the time of recording the 2021-22 season, FPL managers have been given a second free hit chip because of all the postponements we've seen in FPL this year. So for that reason, the rule has been added to the game that you cannot use 2 free hit chips in 2 consecutive game weeks. So that's one thing to bear in mind. And the other big thing to consider is that you cannot use 2 chips in the same game week. So if you're on a free hit, you cannot bench boost or wildcard or use your triple captain chip at the same time. So when you are planning your chip strategy for the season, you can only use 1 chip per week. So that's another really good rule of the guide that you need to look out for. Diving back into the current FPL season then, and when you may want to use the free hit chip, looking at the next 3 game weeks in the schedule, there's some interesting times where you may choose to use the free hit chip. So in game week 25, we've potentially got a blank game week for Chelsea and Arsenal due to Chelsea's involvement in the Club World Cup. And we've also got a double game week for Manchester United and Brighton. Manchester United play Southampton and Brighton at home. Brighton play Watford and Manchester United away. So a good opportunity with a good set of fixtures to triple up on those teams. So on a game week 25 free hit, I'd be looking to bring in Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes and De Gea from Manchester United, and potentially even looking to triple up on Brighton assets, maybe looking at Maupay, Trossard and Veltman for budget purposes, and then you can pad out your team with some great single game week assets that have a good fixture. So I'm looking towards Manchester City, who play Norwich away with De Bruyne, Cancelo and Laporte. Also looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's been a mainstay of our defences this season against Burnley, and looking at Jared Bowen, who's a great form player right now. That would be a very good option for a free hit chip in game week 25. Now in game week 26, we see 8 sides having a double game week where they've got 2 fixtures, so 180 minutes of fantasy action to try and accumulate those fantasy points. And the teams that have got the most attractive fixtures on paper are Liverpool, who play Norwich and Leeds at home, and also Arsenal, who play Brentford and Wolves at home. So I'd be looking to triple up on those teams. From Liverpool, I'd be looking to get in Salah, Trent and Jota into my team, and from Arsenal, potentially Martinelli, Tierney and Ramsdale. Now you can also look at some of the fringe squads that have got a double game week as well. So I'd be looking towards Wolves, who've got Leicester at home and Arsenal away. I'd be getting in Ait-Nouri, who's a great budget enabler, and Raul Jimenez. And I'd also be looking towards Spurs, who've got a couple of trickier fixtures, City away and Burnley away. But I think that Burnley away fixture is great if you're an owner of Kane and Son. And I also like the look of Josh King for a pair of fixtures against Aston Villa and Crystal Palace for double game week 26. Game week 27 is probably the first week where we'll see a large number of free hit chips activated. We've got Liverpool and Chelsea in the League Cup final, which causes blanks for them in the fixture schedule, and that will also impact upon Arsenal and potentially Leicester City as well. So given that 2 of those teams that I've mentioned have got very attractive fixtures in double game week 26, it's going to be hard to go from that immediately into a blank in game week 27. So a good time to play the free hit chip to capitalise on those teams that have got very good fixtures in game week 27. I'm looking towards Manchester United at home to Watford, Spurs away at Leeds, and also looking towards Southampton at home to Norwich, and Manchester City away at Everton. So the players that I'd be choosing, I'd be looking to get in Bruno Fernandes and maybe a double up on the Manchester United defence. I'd also be looking to get Kane and Son in. De Bruyne and Cancelo are in great form right now, and a few differentials in there as well, looking at Southampton to Broja and Livramento, possibly Edouard and Mbomo as well. So lots to consider there in terms of a free hit game week 27. We will see a lot of managers planning for that one in the schedule very soon. Now, if you've got any further questions about when to use that free hit chip, please do get in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Hopefully you found this video useful. Please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with you all very soon for another episode of FPL Hacks.